And we are live, Neelam.
Good evening, friends. When restless thoughts like troubled rivers flow, a poem comes and teaches them to slow. Each tender word brings silence to the soul, and broken rhythms gently become whole. That's poetry for me, and hope everyone resonates with the thoughts. Good evening from India. Literary Warriors Group was founded in 2011 under the name of Poets and Writers Den. From 2019, after having been renamed as Literary Warriors Group, it picked up real momentum in terms of spreading its wings by organizing quite a few online and offline meets. And today, you're welcome to the 58th International Poetry Meet on the page. Today, we have amidst us a galaxy of poets: Malashri Lal and Nandini Sahu from India, Kuldeep from Canada, Anita Nahal and Rupa from USA, and myself also from India. So let me begin by introducing our multi-talented poets. Malashri Lal, with 26 books, retired as Professor, English Department, University of Delhi. Publications include Tagore and the Feminine and the Law of the Threshold. Co-edited with Namita Gokhale is the Goddess Trilogy on Sita, Radha, Lakshmi, and also Betrayed by Hope, which received the Kalinga Fiction Award. Lal's poetry collections are Mandalas of Time, shortlisted for the Tagore Literary Prize, and Signing in the Air. With Namita Gokhale, she has published two books on Himalayan folklore recently. Honors include the prestigious Maharani Gayatri Devi Award for Women's Excellence and the Setu Award for Excellence. Currently, Lal is the convener, English Advisory Board, Sahitya Academy. Welcome, Professor Malashri Lal.
Thank you very much, Neelam. I deem it a privilege to be part of the Literary Warriors group, and thank you very much for including me in the program today. I'm also very privileged to have the excellent company with me among the readers, and I'm sure the audience is looking forward to another of Neelam's excellent programs. And I'm just going to begin my reading with a poem on Manthara Dasi. As Neelam introduced me, you would have noticed that I have a long drawn out interest in the epics and mythology. And I've particularly been looking for the characters who have been reviled, who have been put on the side, whose voice has been silenced by both patriarchy and also social hierarchy. And Manthara, to my mind, sounds like one of those who has had multiple oppressions thrust upon her. I wanted to just enter her mind and see her more sympathetically as a kind of a mother figure to Kekai. So here is my poem. It's appeared in the first volume of poetry that I published, which is Mandalas of Time. By the way, I started writing poetry, or rather publishing poetry, rather late. This is 2023. Manthara Dasi. Could I close my ears to those barbs? Kubra, hunchback, shame, oh shame, crooked. So I was born, the ugliest of women, where beauty is praised, mocked, derided as a cujo, as though I bore a crooked soul. Yet I loved. Like a mother, I loved Kekai and desired the best for her: kingdom, fame, wealth, and love, a perennial cornucopia. She found it too in marrying Dashrath. I wanted more for her, the supreme power of being Queen Mother. The hunchback's wisdom, observation, and acuteness didn't fail me, and Kekai, obedient daughter, asked for her boons: kingdom for Bharat and Ram's exile. Oh, horror! The sublime dream turned into infernal curse. People pelted stones on my back, shouting, Kubra, Kujo. My daughter shut her door against me. I slunk into a hovel to save my life. I slept among worms and putrid soil, bereft of care or sympathy. I was hated, reviled for my ugliness. What wrong did I do in protecting my child? Doesn't every mother dream of a princess, a queen? Thank you, that's it.
That was a very interesting poem. In fact, I find the female characters in mythologies the world over very interesting because they compel us to question the stories we inherit. History and mythology often preserve the perspective of those who are celebrated while silencing those who are condemned. Perhaps every villain has a version that was never heard, every act of betrayal or context that was erased. Truth in stories is rarely absolute. It often depends on who holds the pen. Thank you for that wonderful poem, Malashri Lalji. And let me now introduce Anita Nahal. Anita Nahal is a professor, poet, children's book writer, novelist, and short filmmaker. Twice Pushcart Prize nominated in 22 and 23, and finalist Tagore Literary Prize 2023. Anita won the Nissim Prize for Literature in 2024 for her novel Drenched Thoughts. Anita has authored 17 books, a Fulbright and NEH scholar. She teaches at the University of the District of Columbia, Washington, D.C. So, Anita, we would request you to render both your poems since you are a bit busy today. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Neelam, and thank you to Rupa. Thank you to both of you for organizing this and inviting me, and thank you to all my fellow poets. And apologies that I'm going to be reading both my poems now. Um, so I thought I'll choose two poems, one from my very first book, which came out in 1988. It was called Initiations. And then the second poem is from my latest collection, which came out last year, called Animals, Prose Poems on Sentiency, Decency, and Indecency. I just wanted to show that how basic human thoughts and emotions don't necessarily change, though we might adjust and compromise and slightly alter our responses depending on our circumstances. So the first poem is called Crossroads. Like a rock, uncertainty sits in one's heart, large and dark, refusing to budge. And the heart is alone, its chambers intertwined but muddled, like stars in the cold black night, undecided about their companions. The paperweight is light, and the sheets beneath shift with the first whiff of air. The vulnerable raft rocks wildly while rushing waters threaten its moorings to carry it off to sea. The predicament is whether to wear glass bangles adorned with brilliant colors, ringing delicate crystal notes, or to arm myself with steel, firm and compact, yet grave, very grave. And I wonder that even though I have my spectacles on, will I be able to push the thread through the needle's minute opening? So this was my first one. And thank you, thank you. And the second one, sorry, this is not from my animals. I'm sorry, I misspoke. This is from a collection that I'm currently writing. When I will finish it, I don't know. But this poem was published recently in the Poem a Day of the American Academy of American Poets. It's called The Quiet Shift. And on top, I have a quotation by Swami Vivekananda. The quotation is: "The power is with the silent ones." Something in me revels in silent mojos. Something in me anchors in chaos, collecting in pleats like dripping wax. Something in me presents like solid linen while something drifts like silk in tousled winds. Something in me watches me from foreign dimensions. Something in me walks barefoot. Something in me chuds like tactical boots heard by neighbors down the street. And then something in me stays, inaudibly, staring at no one. In every state, I hope to be understood. Wait, what? My needs, my errors, my missteps, my love, my extended giving nibble like besotted puppies with immature teeth. Deliberately, as it rains or snows, I let these lead me into some sort of wisdom as I rub my palms, soothing the aridity of increasing wrinkles. Sigh, sigh, sigh again, sigh. I try, truly I do. I promise I try. I even sing me a soft lullaby. If nothing folds, it's goodbye. Thank you.
These were wonderful poems, dear Anita, and we loved hearing them. In fact, a few lines. Nothing announced the moment I changed. The same roads waited, the same windows opened. Only
Mm.
my footsteps had learned a different language, and the horizon no longer felt far away. Shifts come after a lot of thoughts, but they aren't usually loud. Thank you for those lovely poems, dear Anita.
Thank you.
And it's now time to introduce my dear friend and sister, Nandini. We've stayed together in Kolkata for some time, and it was a wonderful time that we both had. So, Professor Nandini Sahu, Vice Chancellor, Hindi University, West Bengal, Amazon's best selling author, Professor of English, and former Director, School of Foreign Languages, IGNOU, New Delhi, is an established Indian English poet, creative writer, and folklorist. She is the author, editor of 23 books. She is the recipient of the prestigious Madhusudan Academy Award 2024, Lifetime Achievement Award 2024, Tagore Samman Award 2025, and Honorary Fellowship by International Academy of Ethics, India. So, Nandini, we are eagerly waiting to listen to your poems.
Thank you so much, Neelam. Sabhi ko namaskar. I am so glad to be a part of this. Switch it on. Yeah, I am so glad to be a part of this international poetry reading session with so many wonderful poets sitting in front of me with whom I share sisterhood and solidarity. And especially with Neelam, I have a soul connection, like she said. And Rupa, whenever you organize, you hold any program, you do it excellently. I mean, your professionalism, the way you present, there is something about your voice that I so admire. You have been doing too well. And Malashri ma'am, the poem she read, I have reviewed that book, so I have gone through all the poems very carefully. I resonate with her when she said that she writes about mythology is most of the times the background of her poetry. In many of my poems, also like all of you know, Sita, Draupadi, and Gandhari, so many poems I have. But today I'm going to read another poem on nationality that I told Neelam. And this is for my son, not exactly my only son. It's for all the sons and daughters of the country. So I'm asking them not to be so great in their own lives that they believe that they have a perfect life and other people don't have. So it's kind of creating empathy in them and talking about nation, nationality, and nationhood to the children in the country. Title of the poem is A Nation is Not an Emblem. I will repeat, a nation is not an emblem. My son, never grow so tall that a grieving head cannot rest on your shoulder, that tears fall short of you and return unheard to the ground. Do not become so clean that you must hide the stain on your shirt. You need not camouflage the candid dirt earned by sweat and by toiling the soil. Don't you sharpen your mind so fiercely that it slices away from the commoner, an intellect that needs a vocabulary test as a bridge is already too far from the river of living speech. Let your wisdom walk barefoot so the common feet may walk with it. My son, never become so dignified that when you stumble upon the road, you have to rise while hiding your face. Fall openly. Let the dust know your name. Let them see that even strength has knees and feet that fight fit. Do not become such a patriot for whom a flag weighs more than a life. If someone lies bleeding at your feet and your hands are full of symbols and emblems, drop them, just drop them. Pick the person. A nation is not fabric or a fate or a foolhardy fumble. It is the pulse of your natural flavor. Never become so complete, so satisfied, so fulfilled, so content, having such a perfect life that you sniff at the broken, unhinged, imperfect life of the subaltern. Do not become so well mannered, well cultured that you lose the courage to say no when age speaks falsely and authority forces justice. Respect is not silence, a nation is not a flag. Let truth be spoken gently yet firmly. Do not become so polished, so refined that love frightens you. If you see two lovebirds trembling together on a branch, do not call it vulgar. The world survives because love and longing sing. My son, do not become so pious, so wrapped in prayer and purity that to protect tangible idols, you forget the breathing intangible forms. No purity pollution debate when the hungry are pushed away from the temple steps. When devotion learns to kill in the name of faith. If God lives anywhere, he lives first in the tired spine, the empty stomach, the waiting eyes. After all, we are all works in progress. We are works of unfinished art, stitched together by compassion, held upright by another's designed scheme. Grow, my son, grow, but grow reachable. Rise, yet remain legible, comprehensible. Thank you. And I would put it on record that this is Anita's favorite poem, so I have given it to her for publication.
Oh, wow. And I've heard it before, and every time I hear it, I love it all the more.
Okay, yes,
Thank you.
we read it together in your office.
Yes,
But the
yes,
poem
yes.
is yet to be published. Yes.
Yes, that's
Mm,
true.
mm,
That's true.
mm. Thank you.
So, indeed, a very wonderful poem from you. Thank you
Yes.
so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
And
Neelam.
let
Thank
me
you for
know,
inviting me.
it is always our pleasure. So, let me now introduce Kuldeep. Kuldeep Ahluwalia hails from Chandigarh, India, and is now settled in Canada. Kuldeep is a trailblazer whose resilience transformed her personal struggle into a historic Supreme Court victory in Canada in May 2026. And claps for her. Kuldeep has acted in a Punjabi feature film, documentaries, short films, and various song videos. Kuldeep is a passionate writer, poetess, and an internationally certified human behavior facilitator. Her poems have been published in many magazines. So, Kuldeep, we would love to listen to your first poem for the day.
Thank you, Neelam. Thank you for inviting me today for this lovely program and meeting with all you prestigious poets, writers. Oh my God, I'm so thrilled. Uh, Everyone's poem, like Mala, Nandini, Anita, great. And it's always a good learning. That's what I believe in. Mine is a very short poem. The first one is Steeping Love. Belonging to each other, while cup awaits cravingly, the kettle boils away. Belonging to each other, while cup awaits cravingly, the kettle boils away, though singing a cheerful song that tunes in mind in a ceremonial way. Courageous enough to hold hot tea. As the steam rises, the pyramid of thoughts rise, having an urge to release from shackles through the parabolic arc spout. Poured into a fascinated teacup, a cup full of blessings that caresses the lips, and in joy and sadness, the warmth of a cup like a hug. The warmth of a cup like a hug, sometimes cheering up, calming down, amusing, relaxing, quenching thirst, dissipating sorrows. In my own world, my love affair with the kettle and the cup, a pleasure to be shared, which lasts a lifetime. My love affair with the kettle and the cup, a pleasure to be shared, which lasts a lifetime. Thank you.
Oh, that was so wonderful, so wonderful. I just read a few lines which I would like to read here. Love deepens quietly, like tea surrendering to water, releasing what it has guarded for years. Time does not weaken its essence, it only teaches the heart how deeply it gets deep. So nice to listen to your poem again, Kuldeep.
Thank you.
You've been with us in several sessions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
it's my turn now to introduce Rupa Rao. Rupa Rao is a biographer, poet, writer, editor, and curator who holds an MBA and law degree. She serves as an admin at LWG and is chief coordinator for International Academy of Ethics. She's featured in multiple global poetry anthologies, magazines, and literary platforms. She enjoys hosting poetry sessions, authors' chats, nature walks, and yoga. She curated and authored 8 poetry anthologies, one biography, plus one prose. In addition, she also edited a fantasy novella by me, 3 poetry collections for friends. So, Rupa, we would love to listen to your first poem.
Thank you, Neelam, so much. And I want to thank so many of our friends who have joined us live. We have Anuradha, Sadbir Ji, we have Seema Jain, we have Manisha Rastogi, Anshu Sharma. Thank you so much for all the support, encouragement, and love to our poets here. And starting with Malashri, I'm in awe of. Motherhood has two sides to the coin, and one side is selfishness and seen as charity on the other flip side of it. So, what a beautiful poem from mythology. The characters taken, but motherhood remains the same no matter where we are. Thank you for that. And Anita, your book initiation, the poem you picked, and the second one, The Quiet Shift, are wonderful. And Kuldeep, I enjoyed the cuppa with you. Thank you for sharing with all of us friends and sisters here. And Nandini, thank you for joining, although you're unwell. And your poem is so touching because I think authenticity and being true to oneself comes above every flag and emblem and patriotism. Thank you for that wonderful, powerful poem. And Neelam, thanks for this opportunity. And this poem is titled Allow Me. Sometimes I'm tired of that one more call. Few chats wobble, couple of them tumble, some stall. I do not promise eternal sunshine on full blast. Time zones flip, I'm too early or half past. Life throws highs, lows, loops, and slips. Sharing gets tough when I lose my grip. Space and silence help me reboot bright. It is not a proof that our chat lacked spark or light. Self repair brings back my bounce and rhyme, makes me ready, revived, refreshed for next time. Some days I'm dense fog, not crystal clear. Some days I'm slower, not shifting in high gear. Allow me, allow me my pause, allow me my reset, allow me to recharge my vibe. I promise to hop back warmer with rhythm and jive. Thank you so much. This was a poem in response to the fact that sometimes life gets a little busy and one needs to withdraw to revive oneself and cannot respond to the many calls.
Wonderful indeed. Loved listening to your poem, dear Rupa.
Thank you so much, Neelam. And it's my turn now, Neelam, to introduce someone who needs no introduction, the founder of LWG, my dear friend. You, Neelam, are an author of 84 books and counting because the number keeps changing every time I introduce you. And you hold 3 records in the Limca Book of Records. You have been honored with Sohanlal Dwivedi Puraskar by Maharashtra State Hindi Sahitya Academy, the Premchand Award by Ministry of Railways, the Rabindranath Tagore International Poetry Award, the Freedom Award by Radio City, the Rural Lifetime Achievement Award, among many, many other accolades. In 2014, Forbes India recognized you as one of the 78 most popular authors in India. And I invite you to talk about a phenomenal woman. I wonder who that is. Over to you.
Thank you, dear Rupa, for that kind introduction. And I would be rendering a short poem. The poem is, in fact, titled The Woman I Love. She is a phenomenal woman. She surfaced from the ashes and yet burned, for enflaming removes all the undesired thoughts that bestir in the mind due to familial and societal pressures, making her feel like a reflection of others. She wanted an unadulterated version of herself, innate to her own dreams. She learned to say no in her tramp like journey, for in her no encamped her strength that was necessary in her quest. She faltered, not once, not twice, but many a times. She learned to accept her brokenness with a smile. Her firepower wasn't in losing, it resided in accepting her mistakes and moving on. She knew that she would be a trailblazer someday. She knew that she would be a trailblazer someday. She wasn't born with a silver spoon, but she kept creating silver all around her aura. She wasn't born with a silver spoon, but she kept creating silver all around her aura. So that was my poem. Thank you so much.
Beautiful. And this poem, coming from a phenomenal woman yourself, is a delight and a pleasure to hear. And I think we are a group of phenomenal women, not only on this panel or this group of LWG, but across the sisterhood that we share. So back to you, Neelam, to continue with your second round.
Thank you so much, dear Rupa. Thank you, dear poets, for your lovely poems, which we are all enjoying this evening. And we have a lot of wonderful audience who is commenting and who is encouraging us. I'm sure that the viewers who will join us later would also love the poems and find them interesting. So, moving on, uh, a few words. Varsha, the cloud, carries with it both burden and blessing. It travels silently, gathering weight until holding on is no longer possible. Then it lets go, and the earth blooms. Perhaps there is a lesson in that. Not every release is a loss. Sometimes we must empty ourselves to become the reason something else grows. Well, that's my thought, dear Malashri ji, and we would love to listen to your poem on the theme of Varsha, the clouds.
Thank you very much, Neelam. And thank you, all the other poets on the panel, for the beautiful recitations and your thoughts in lovely language and very thoughtful metaphors. I've enjoyed listening to each one. And also, the audience that we have is extremely encouraging, very receptive to the variety. And I want to thank each one of you there listening to the program for being with us. I'm now going to read the second poem, which is titled Varsha, as Neelam just said, from my relatively new collection, which is called Signing in the Air. This came out late last year and was released at the Jaipur Literature Festival in January 2026. And many people have asked me about the strange title. And I've explained it in my own way to say that it's about imprint and erasure. Because many of us have a deep sense of ego, and we think that our signature is in a way, the shorthand to our identity. But if you look at the clouds, and I read a lot of Kalidas, so Meghdut is one of my favorite poems. And sitting in an overgrown city like Delhi, the only escape is when you crane your neck and look up there. And what you see is clouds who are never still. And it reminds me that none of us is ever still. So, however much the ego might be there, the imprint is there. Like the clouds moving on, we will also be erased. The second point I want to make before reading the poem is that as a student of literature and mainly a colonial syllabus that we inherited, the seasons were only four: summer, winter, autumn, and uh, what is it? Some summer, winter, autumn, and spring. Yeah,
Monsoon.
yeah, exactly. But we never saw that kind of an autumn with falling leaves and golden leaves and all that. And we never saw the winter with heaps of snow all over the place. And we never saw daffodils in the spring and things like that. And yet we have in our own tradition the Bara Masa, which captures the idea of seasons much more accurately. But due to the colonial education, somehow the Baramasa, which is popular in painting and also in music, has been ignored in English writing in India. That was my feeling. So in this book, I didn't write about the Baramasa, but I wrote about the six seasons, which is also another division that we have. And since we are in the month of July, and in the midst of a climate change where we don't know whether the seasons will keep to what has been classically understood to be their aura, this is an appropriate time, I thought, to remind us of what Varsha was and what Varsha may have become. So, this is the poem. It's called Varsha, the Cloud Messenger Today. Cloud messengers have been stricken with amnesia. They forgot to carry the basket of rain or listen to the prayers of the parched earth below, static, heavy, and grey with pollution. The cloud megha resemble the umbrella over Hiroshima when bodies vaporized in the intense heat, leaving a throttled imprint on wounded steps. Today, it'll be tortuous, prolonged, annihilation. Varsha Ritu, but no rain. Varsha, no frolicking among freshly sprung ponds. Varsha, wake up to Kalidas's Chanda to chant Meghdut's lines. Now roam wherever you please in your glory. Our Kalyug has caused you amnesia. Forgive. Oh, please forgive. Thank you.
What a different perspective. What a different perspective, and such beautiful words you've woven. Very nice poem. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. And we move on to Kuldeep, but before that, a few lines. Perhaps her idleness is not the absence of motion, but a quiet room where thoughts gather unseen. While the world measures life by all that gets done, she may be listening to what holy stillness reveals. We are eagerly awaiting your rendition of the second poem for the day, Kuldeep.
Thank you, Neelam. It's a very short poem, though, and you all are such an inspiration. My God, so many awards, everyone, so many books published, and all, and so many different aspects to life. I mean, it's wonderful to be a part of this program today. Um, Trust me. Thank you so much, Neelam. Thank you. So, this poem is My Idleness. For you, my bonding with the deep, mysterious sea. For you, my bonding with the deep, mysterious sea, that lonely shore, music in the roar, the murmur of water, kiss of rain, me drenching in, refreshing, embracing, the puddled path, lonesome trail, soft, intimate breeze, tall, sacred mountains, long, subtle rivers, floating clouds, dark woods, spirit of trees, blossomed flowers, shining sun, undisturbed heaven, wind playing with my hair, magical moments accomplished me is my idleness. Come, walk with me, shirking into the heart of nature, hand in hand, cherish the soothing fragrance for ideal me. Come, walk with me, shirking into the heart of nature, hand in hand, cherish the soothing fragrance for ideal me. Thank you so much.
That was wonderful. And as Seema Jainji says, it had very powerful imagery. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And
Thank you so much.
moving ahead, I would like to invite Rupa, but before that, a few lines. The moment loyalty is asked for, something shifts. Trust wonders why it must stand trial. What is freely rooted needs no oath of permanence. Only fragile bonds keep asking to be proved. Over to you, Rupa, for your next poem.
Thank you so much once again, Neelam. And I do want to acknowledge here the beautiful lines from Malashri and from Kuldeep. And Malashri, I love the fact that you mentioned about our egos, bloated, huge egos, and we are those mere shifting clouds which will float away. And we need to look at how small, minuscule we are under those clouds, which need to actually, I think, sprinkle and wash away the egos we hold so big. Thank you for that wonderful poem. And Kuldeep, once again, idleness. Lovely. Loved your two poems. And coming to mine, I titled it Loyalty. And actually, it has some kind of connection to what Nandini talked about and also what Neelam just now shared in her four-liner. Loyalty is a virtue until given to a bully wrapped in a clown. Then one is stuck holding secrets that could shut the circus down. Loyalty is a virtue until given to a bully wrapped in a clown. Then one is stuck holding secrets that could shut the circus down. Folks stay loyal like a villain who is oddly sentimental but betrayed once. Their memory gets accidentally dental. Loyalty is a contract written in invisible ink. Break it, and they smile while plotting something none can predict. Most are loyal to the real ones, the ones who do not pretend. The rest get archived like emails that are never meant to send. Give loyalty wisely. It is a dangerous, dicey little gift. Aim it at the wrong crowd, and sanity shakes, starting to drift. True loyalty is rare, like a ghost that pays rent, but when it is mutual, it feels heaven sent. True loyalty is rare, like a ghost that pays rent, but when it is mutual, it feels heaven sent. Thank you.
So well said, Rupa. Loved your poem.
Thank you so much, Neelam. And coming to your last but not the least, and a very important poem, The Unquiet Shores. And we have so many of our dear friends joining and commenting. We have Ranu Unyal, who is here for Malashri with her comments, Seema Jain, Sadbir Chadda, Anuradha, Asha Gaur. We have Rastogi. Thank you so much for your wonderful comments. And now over to you, dear Neelam. Cannot wait to hear.
Thank you so much, Rupa. While I was posted in Kolkata for almost 18 months, I've written a lot of poems sitting on the bank of River Hooghly. So this is one of those poems. I shall be publishing it under the title The Soul Sky. So here goes the poem. Unquiet Shores. Your mind is like a shore. Everyone believes that it's calm. Your mind is like a shore. Everyone believes that it's calm. An onlooker may lazily spend a few hours sitting, sipping tea, and even eating pyaz pakoras. An ardent photographer may try to capture the breathtaking beauty. A weekend painter may come with his canvas and paint the contours of the stage shore. A notable poet may write on the reflections of the night lights that rhythmically shake in water. What they'll all assume is that the shore is gracefully calm. What they'll all assume is that the shore is gracefully calm. However, the inner turmoil may, like the overwrought waves, keep striking towards the poised surface again and again and yet again. However, the inner turmoil may, like the overwrought waves, keep striking towards the poised surface again and yet again. And if you don't dip your meandering mind in a sacred bottle of nirvanic nectar and fearlessly face the inner turmoil, the waves may also evade you, taking away your comforting charm. So that was my poem.
Wow. So Kolkata did that to you. Hooghly has heightened your creativity to talk about the shores and the waters and the peace and the calm. Love that. Look forward to the next book that will be nothing but all about Hooghly and your world and life around it.
Thank you so much, dear Rupa. What an amazing evening it has been, dear Malashri ji, Nandini, Kuldeep, and Anita. On behalf of Literary Warriors Group, Rupa and I would like to thank you from the deepest corners of our hearts. We would love to have you again in some other episode of the International Poetry Meet. So, see you till next time. Bye bye. Bye bye to the lovely audience.
Thank you. Bye
Thank you,
bye. Good
everyone.
night.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.